In this chapter, we're going to look at some of the mathematics related to owning a small business. In this lesson, we're going to look at startup and operating costs.
Okay, everybody, so let's take a look at this. Startup and operating costs. Okay, so you're starting a new business here, and there's a couple things to consider, and we want to make sure that you understand the difference between startup and operating costs. So there are many things that one has to consider before going into business, and you might do some research to determine, well, okay, first of all, okay, before you even get into starting the business, should you? Is the business right for you? I mean, is this something that kind of fits with who you are? And are you committed to it, to stick it through even over rough periods? A lot of businesses fail in their first 2 years. I mean, that's not me being all doom and gloom. That's just reality. When you look out there, it's something, and I mean, I might be wrong with this, but I think it's like upwards of 80% of new businesses don't make it past the first 2 years. So commitment is a big deal. Okay. Is the business even feasible? Okay, I mean, I've seen businesses. I've seen there's places even in our city where I've watched a business go up, the business goes down, a business goes up, business goes down. There's something about the location, for instance, that makes that particular spot bad for business. There might just be ideas that simply you're not ready for. Okay, I mean, I've read lots of articles about ideas that people have had that didn't go anywhere, but then 10 years later, oh well, now the market is ready for it. So there's things to consider. Is it a feasible business idea? Is it likely to make a profit? And then who are your potential customers or clients? And are there enough potential clients and whatnot to support your business? Okay, it might be a great idea, but you're putting it in the wrong location. There simply aren't enough people to make a go of it. So these are things to consider. Another thing we want to consider here is, as you're going ahead with a business, we want to consider the startup costs and then what we call the operating costs. Now, to be really clear about this, about the difference between those, because this has been an issue for students that I've worked with here, we're going to make sure that operating costs, okay, these are meant to keep the business going, running here. These are ongoing or repeated. Okay. Anytime you've got a cost that is going to come up over and over and over again, those are what we're going to call operating costs. Now, some of those might be necessary right at the beginning to start a business, and I get that. But we are going to consider startup to be one time at the beginning. Whoops. That doesn't look right. A one-time expense at the beginning. Now, when I say one-time expense, you've also got to bear with me and give me a little bit of leniency with this too. Like, for example, if you're coming up with like you're starting a business that maybe is a convenience store, one of the things you're going to have to buy is a cash machine. Now, will those wear out? Yeah, I'm sure they do. Are you going to have to replace that in the future? Yeah, probably. Okay, but that's not what you would consider this ongoing expense. It's not something that you're constantly budgeting for and having to do repeatedly. You're hoping that you kind of deal with that up front, and then that's dealt with, and then you can move on to other things. So anyway, I want you to kind of to think about it in those two different categories here, just to make things simple for what we're trying to accomplish in this course. Okay, so hopefully you've had a moment or two to look through the demonstration that's just above this, okay, where I go through, I give you some questions, then I go through in the workbook here the explanation. Now I just want to run to the examples here and walk through these with you. So the population of Medicine Hat is roughly 63,000 people, and 15% of them are under 15 years of age. The population of Wood Buffalo is approximately 72,000, and 12% of them are under 15 years of age. So which city would be a better location to start a fitness center, a fitness class for youths under 15 years of age? Okay, so let's take a look at the, we're going to take a look at the appropriate population for both of them. So let's take a look at population, and we'll make this in Medicine Hat. And the population that we're looking for here is going to be, first of all, 63,000 is the total. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that by 0.15. We're going to convert that 15% into a decimal. and then we're going to multiply 63,000 by 0.15, and we get 9,450. So in Medicine Hat, there are 9,450 youths under 15 years of age. Now we're going to take a look at the population at Wood Buffalo, which is 72,000. Now, on the face of it, 72,000 people sounds like a better place to go, simply because the population is larger. Okay, but that doesn't always mean. That doesn't always mean that there's more people there. And in fact, more people of the target population there. And in fact, because only 12% of them are under 15, that gives us just 8,640. So really what this means here, which city would be a better location? Medicine Hat, okay, it has more youths under 15 years of age. And that's why that would be a better place to set up that kind of a program. Your target audience is larger. Okay, so we got a few questions to go through together here. The first one here, Oscar wants to open a pet daycare in his community and he already knows it is a feasible idea. Identify 5 different items that he would need to consider as a startup cost. Okay, well, what sorts of things would he need to buy here? Well, he would need to buy, for example, he would need to buy blankets. Okay, now bear in mind, we want a startup cost. So these are costs that we're hoping won't be repeated costs. Now, is he going to have to buy more blankets later on? Yeah, but not for a while. Okay, he's very likely going to have to buy chew toys. Okay, he's going to have to buy kennels. Okay, he's going to have to buy dog food dishes. Okay, he's going to have to buy leashes. Okay, you're going to have to buy, I mean, there's all sorts of things, okay, that he's going to have to buy here. But, I mean, there's 5 examples right there. You could probably think of a bunch of other ones, okay? There's still a lot more that you'd have to consider here. Like, for example, he would also have to buy, and I suspect he'd have to buy, like, a cash machine. He'd also have to buy, probably have to buy, like fencing, stuff like this in the yard. And this can go on and on. Anyway, just to give you an idea of the sorts of things we want to think about. Okay, so our next question says, Michael has estimated that he will have the following startup costs for his new business. Okay, so for tools will cost him $300, business license costs $175. And see, now here's another thing that you got to watch out for. Okay, business license. Okay, government, city needs to know that you're operating a business. You need to have a license to do that. By the way, there's other costs associated with stuff like that, like insurance. Man, you don't want to be doing a lot of work without insurance there. That could be devastating. Okay, then here he's got website development. Now, if he's got no money saved, how much money will he need to borrow from the bank? Well, what's the total here? It's going to be 300 plus 175 plus 150. So I'm just going to do this on my calculator because I don't want to make a mistake writing that down in my head. So $625 is how much he needs to borrow from the bank. Now, take a look at this next part here. He is given a 5.05% per annum loan, compounded monthly. Okay, it's good to know that, for a 1-year term. Okay, so he's only got 1 year to pay it back. How much will he need to pay if he repays the full amount due in one payment at the end of the term? When it's worded like that, that's what I'm asking you for. So our accumulated amount here is going to be $625, 1 plus 0.0505. Whoops, that's our interest rate. It's compounded monthly. And then to the 12 times 1, because it's only in there for 1 year. So now we enter that all into the calculator. So 625 times 1 plus 0.0505 divided by 12, close brackets, to the power of 12. And he's going to end up paying $657.30. Okay, so that's how much he's going to have to pay back for the loan here. Now bear in mind, if we were to ask you for the interest, that would be the difference between those two. In which case, that is looking to me like, what is that, 20... Actually, 25 will put us up to 50 plus 7, so $32.30. Okay, this next question here says, Brad has saved $1,500 for his stump removal business that he will run out of his home. He already has his truck. The following is a list of his other expenses. Classify each as startup or as operating. Okay, so look at this. Business license, $175 per year, paid in full at startup. Okay, now don't get thrown off by this paid at full at startup. As soon as it says per year, that's operating. Gasoline, $175 per month, that's operating. Vehicle insurance, $200 per month, that's operating. Your canvas sheeting. Well, there's no regular schedule for that, so that is going to be a startup expense. Maintenance per month, that's operating. Now, maintenance is going to be like your tools, your equipment, your trucks and whatnot. The phone bill, okay? You got to be able to communicate with people, and that's monthly, so that's going to be operating. Coveralls and cloth, $25. There's no schedule to that. That's startup. Chainsaw, $350. There's no schedule to that. That's a startup. Now, the last part here says, how much will Brad need to start his business to operate it for the first month? Okay, well, what that is, our total is going to be, now notice that a lot of these are per month, but the first one isn't. It's $175 per year. However, it has to be paid in full at the startup, which is why this affects, I mean, the reason why that was here is for this question right here. You would need to pay that $175 plus the $175 per month for the gasoline, plus the $200 for the insurance, plus the $285 to start off with, 75 plus the 50 plus the 25 plus the 3. Basically, all I got to do is add up all of those numbers to there because this is the first month. Now, later on, and subsequent months, you don't need to worry about the canvas sheeting or the coveralls or the chainsaw. In fact, for most of the year, you don't have to worry about the business license because it's already been handled. So the expense gets less later on. Anyway, let me put these together. 175 plus 175 plus 200 plus 285 plus 75 plus 50 plus 25 plus 350. So to start off with, it's going to cost him $1,335.